So we'll go ahead and get started. So beginning with DocuSign, probably the leading product here that draws our attention in terms of integration potential with Laserfiche. DocuSign is, of course, now the standard of sorts in digital signatures. 85 million users now across just shy of 200 countries, about 250,000 company users. Well over 60% of documents that go through a DocuSign process are completed within an hour. Many of us have been introduced to it in our personal and professional lives. And 10 of the top 15 U.S. financial service companies, of course, use DocuSign now, and we of course see that occurring more and more, and that is a driver, the main driver behind our continued development of a dynamic and deep integration. Cities Digital is proud to be both a Laserfiche and DocuSign integration partner, as well as a Laserfiche value-added reseller, and maintains relationships with both development teams, ensuring a functional and powerful integration for you. Now, Laserfiche, of course, the manufacturer of the product that Cities Digital focuses on distributing, is a well-established, privately owned U.S. company with just shy of 40,000 installations. If my number is up to date, it's probably even higher. It permeates a number of industries with relevant forward-thinking add-ons like workflow and electronic forms, records management, and integration potential with things like digital signature tools, as well as seamlessly interfacing with the Windows application environment and applications like Outlook, Microsoft Office, SharePoint, and the rest. And of course, Cities Digital is now developing the integration to be as intimate a touch point as some of the best of the Laserfiche integrations. Cities Digital now has grown to be the largest Laserfiche reseller in financial services and top 5 globally over our just shy of 15-year history. We, of course, have a certified project management team, a separate development team that oversees this particular integration, a scanning bureau, 4 regional offices, and are by far the largest Laserfiche integration partner. We've won a few awards over the years, a few being a little bit of an understatement, including multiple yearly, what Laserfiche refers to as Run Smarter awards for our work, and have a highly available support team and training programs as well. And that's us there in the bottom right. So the current edition or version of the DocuSign integration from Cities Digital is, of course, version 3.0. It's been out for 2 months, and the Laserfiche DocuSign integration from Cities Digital has 3 components that we will discuss in more detail today: the Laserfiche client integration, the DocuSign listener, and the Laserfiche workflow activities. So let's begin with the first part there. The Laserfiche client integration has been out for a while. It was the flagship component of the DocuSign integration. It functions in the Laserfiche Thick client. The alternative Laserfiche DocuSign integration functions only in the Thin client. Performance improvements have drastically improved the wait time or any issues sending documents to DocuSign from Laserfiche. We've fixed a number of bugs. The new user interface includes an easy configuration screens that users can utilize as well as admins. And after the Laserfiche button is hit on the toolbar now, which we'll see in just a second, the flagship component of this integration, now we have a dialog box that will appear saying, please wait while your document is sent to DocuSign. It doesn't lock the screen, but it alerts users to the upload process and informs them as to what's going on in the background, allowing users to know what's being processed. The DocuSign listener is the process component of the integration that waits for and queries communication with DocuSign for the Laserfiche application. We've also made a number of performance improvements there and a couple of bug fixes. We continue to vet and push the application, the integration, to persevere in the most involved and enterprise of environments. The configuration utility now has been expanded to offer users a global configuration utility to configure the integration for all users. The DocuSign listener now will also automatically retry failed imports every 5 minutes, and we're talking about communication between a couple of different servers, yours and if it's hosted, our servers, and the DocuSign server array. Every now and then there is an import or a retrieval that fails, and of course the listener will continue to query that document until we get it back. And of course there's no lost documents in the process, maybe just a little bit of a delay, but that now has been improved by automatic function within the integration itself. The listener will detect import causes and causes of import failure and send email alerts and log the events detailing the error message. Users are able to import envelopes now originating from other programs to request DocuSign signatures and still import them to Laserfiche as well. Now the coup de grace of the improvements made in the new DocuSign integration are the DocuSign workflow activities. And these are separate products from the actual DocuSign integration itself, but we often now offer it as a packaged bundle. The DocuSign workflow activities allow the creation of DocuSign envelopes using a DocuSign template and created ultimately from the Laserfiche workflow tool. The activity that workflow will allow users to use will request a signature using DocuSign. Workflow designers are also able to just drag and drop the activity into the designer and configure properties in the properties pane just like a normal Laserfiche workflow activity, allowing them to use the integration the same way they would use other workflow activities. And that of course has major value in integrating the integrations functionality automatically into your Laserfiche workflows into your regular business processes, an alternative to the user clicking the button. So as I'm sure we are all mostly familiar with, once logged into Laserfiche, usually just through your regular Windows login, users are presented with a nested folder structure. It looks and feels a lot like regular Windows, or at least the Windows file handling experience, and users will of course only see files and folders they have access to, and the DocuSign user button finds its way neatly into the Laserfiche command bar there at the very top of the screen. And we see that here. Another component of Laserfiche that fits perfectly with DocuSign is the Laserfiche workflow tool. Now here we see the easy-to-use Laserfiche Workflow Designer, which is of course a simple graphical interface in which you build a workflow and define the conditions that must be met in order for a document to move from one step to another. It is a very simple, intuitive, and customizable interface that lets you drag and drop activities onto the workflow canvas and configure how they should perform. And Cities Digital, in line with that entirely flexible model, has added 3 custom DocuSign workflow activities to the Laserfiche workflow toolbox to deepen and further automate really the integration steps. And so the Laserfiche DocuSign integration from Cities Digital allows agencies and businesses to integrate the best of the document management system, Laserfiche, and DocuSign's digital signature tools. Now this can happen as needed via the click of a button or through automated workflow activities, and that's the biggest difference here in version 3.0, is that the integrations functionality can now be built into existing Laserfiche workflows or automated using the Laserfiche workflow tool. Furthermore, the latest version of our integration allows for downloading the full DocuSign envelope and its data to Laserfiche, pushing straight to the DocuSign templates and eliminating the need for staff to indicate where to sign. And finally, the integration will even receive output from the DocuSign Power Forms tool, where the document is actually likely not to originate in Laserfiche at all, allowing for a complete dynamic relationship between the DocuSign suite and the Laserfiche suite. So let's take a little deeper look at that. Now, the DocuSign integration button in the Laserfiche client allows for users to manually and easily send documents stored in the Laserfiche repository out for signature through the DocuSign editor via the click of the button you see here. And we've added this new wait window so users know what's going on. And they're able to open documents from Laserfiche, place recipient-specific tags, such as signature and initial boxes in the documents, and then email them right out to the client. This has all been a part of the integrations functionality for the last 2 years. Recipients will be notified of the signature requirements via email, so just like in the normal DocuSign experience. And once the document is signed and emailed back, both sent and signed documents then automatically archive back into Laserfiche with appropriate metadata applied. And that's been the core of the integration via the click of the button, but now that of course is built into the workflow tool as an automated option as well. And many of our clients are using both for your standard new account application, standard invoices, things of that nature, standard new vendor agreements. That process is predictable. Laserfiche workflow can send a document for DocuSign signing when appropriate. Other types of documents need an on-the-fly signature. That, of course, is available via the click of the button we see here at the end of the red arrow. A little closer look to that nifty little button that pushes the document into the DocuSign editor. And the city's digital integration for DocuSign provides organizations with an easy way to then sign and send these documents without disrupting the existing processes. Coupled with Laserfiche workflow, this now significantly improves efficiency, even beyond the powerful base integration functionality. Here we see a document pushed from Laserfiche to the DocuSign editor, where they can then be sent out for signature. And so here a staff member would drag and drop the signature button to a location where this document should be signed. And this process, of course, can now be automated as well and pushed directly to DocuSign templates for immediate distribution. It would just require the existence of DocuSign templates. Recipients and signers receive the custom email messages from DocuSign containing a link to sign the document there just as usual. This notification can include metadata or other custom information that originated in Laserfiche as well, or other outside data sources accessible to workflow, creating truly customized email messages that carry all the way through DocuSign to the signer and return in complete detail. As usual, clients click on the link to sign their document in the usual DocuSign signature portal experience. Signers and any other interested parties would receive a completed copy of the signed document, and then the original with the certificate is now automatically pushed down into the Laserfiche repository from whence it originally came. And we see that here. Signed document back in our Laserfiche document management system with an abundance of audit trail data. We see that there on the right. The completed date, the email address, the sent date, the signed date, and then you'll also notice the DocuSign document status. That has a couple of different status values, one of which would be in process or sent for signature, so that even documents that were in limbo awaiting signature had an intuitive status notation on them. And all of these, of course, can inform any number of additional workflow steps, including auto-filing and notification that a document has returned to us. Along with the abundant audit trail data that we saw there, the signed document is itself accompanied by what is called the DocuSign document signature completion certificate. And we see that here on the left, and that of course is retained alongside the document in Laserfiche now, along with the audit trail data, bolstering our compliance and regulatory adherence, and solidifying the legality of your signature process. The Laserfiche Workflow Toolbox itself is already a valuable collection of just about anything you could want to do with a document or data in Laserfiche. And to extend Laserfiche Workflow's intimacy to the requirements of digital signatures, it seemed the natural step for us. And Cities Digital has thus built these 3 Laserfiche workflow activities specific to communicating with DocuSign. And I have an example workflow there that would use all three activities. These three activities allow us to include the digital signatures as part of your existing client or vendor or internal workflows, hiring workflows. These custom workflow activities eliminate the need for a staff member to click the button in the Laserfiche client, allowing for automatic distribution for signatures. Here they are in a little closer look. And they allow us to push documents to DocuSign for signature automatically, retrieve a document and certificate from DocuSign, such as from a DocuSign Power Form, and finally to retrieve what is called the DocuSign envelope and its data. There is an abundance of information in that envelope, and it is all available to be queried. That final step you see there simply reads the data out of the DocuSign envelope, which returns as an XML for use in Laserfiche workflow. And that can be managed and converted at any point to a standard document type. The final component of the integration is the listener, and here at least we see the configuration component for the listener. It monitors the DocuSign account for a number of activities and retrieves various information at various points in the process as configured. Here we can configure how notifications will be sent to the client, what type of information will be downloaded to Laserfiche, as well as with what regularity, and specifics about what particular information to query and any error logs, as well as an abundance of information that can be retrieved from what's called the DocuSign envelope, including its compliance certificate. And as we wrap up here, the DocuSign integration listener will also retrieve, store, and automate documents from DocuSign that did not originate in Laserfiche. And this is a major addition to the integration itself, and adds to its dynamic relationship with the entire DocuSign suite, not just the DocuSign editor. Most commonly, these would be documents and form output generated from likely the DocuSign Power Forms tool. So if you have an active DocuSign Power Form, when that is completed at any point, it can push into Laserfiche. And the newly generated documents would file into the Laserfiche tool with the same amount of envelope and certificate information and be accessible via the Laserfiche workflow tool for additional filing and routing and naming and notification. But most important to note here is that the Laserfiche system can be the recipient here of document and form output that did not originate in Laserfiche. That, along with the DocuSign workflow activities, are two major additions to what was originally the ability to send single one-off documents at a time out of the Laserfiche repository. Still just as valuable, but a little less flexible per se when we're talking about quarterly distribution of mass amounts of documents or any kind of large document distribution. That was the impetus specifically for the DocuSign workflow activities, the Laserfiche DocuSign workflow activities, and then another client also built out quite a DocuSign Power Forms solution, which we then added to our integration the ability to read as well. And so these three components, the Laserfiche client integration, the ability to send one-off documents for signature, the DocuSign workflow activities, as well as ultimately the functionality provided by the DocuSign listener to receive other types of submissions that from DocuSign that did not start in Laserfiche, create quite a dynamic relationship between the two applications. And this does have a few specific prerequisites. Important to note here for the DocuSign integration includes a controllable DocuSign account, as well as a single name SSL certificate to provide encryption and authentication for the actual integration itself. The DocuSign subscriptions must include the Connect Listener feature as well, which notifies users of the document status from sending to completion and download to Laserfiche. It also retries failed imports every 5 minutes. In order for the Connect Listener, that's the DocuSign account feature that's required for the integration to work. In order for the Connect Listener to work, users must have a web server in-house or provided by their IT or hosting provider that has at least one external IP address, so that DocuSign can actually send status notifications back to you and to your staff. Important to note is that the Connect listener is not often included or activated in the subscriptions provided by custodians and broker-dealers. It is usually included as a value add for the corporate and enterprise accounts, and there are various DocuSign subscription levels available, many that include what is called the Connect listener, and that would need to be activated and present for us to utilize the full features of the integration. That's a little bit of an open-ended statement, I understand, and we can of course assist you in verifying this information with DocuSign and or connecting you with the appropriate DocuSign account representative. Our relationship with them being what it is, that's not difficult for us to do. So thank you very much for your time and attention today. I hope you enjoyed our update on the Dynamic Cities Digital Laserfiche DocuSign integration and workflow activities. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email me or call me directly, and you can find additional information on this integration at the web link above. And without further ado, I thank you for your time and attention today, and have a wonderful paperless day.